Farm News Media presents Farm News 5.
Dry beans are anything but in mid-Michigan. WOTUS is on its way out, and Kansas corn growers win big in Syngenta lawsuit. I'm Janelle Brose, and this is Farm News 5.
Farm News 5 is brought to you by Ford.
Following last week's deluge across parts of mid-Michigan and the Thumb, growers are assessing damage to a multitude of crops, including dry beans. It's difficult to determine how significant losses could be, but early estimates are in.
We could have a loss in Michigan somewhere between 15 and 20% on the edible bean crop. As far as ADM, Star of the West, Bayside, Pigeon Co-op, we're all doing the same thing, processing edible beans and shipping. So we want volume. That's our name of the game. We need volume. Also, as far as the devastating of the crop, we will be down as far as inventory at this time, but there still looks to be plenty of beans to go around to supply the market. One key thing that we had after all this rain is we had cool, cloudy conditions, and that made sure that the beans did not cook in the fields. It was cool enough. The water went away. One thing about the farmers in this local area, we have a lot of tile in the field, so the water can dissipate and get off the field as quick as possible.
Now there's the question of whether or not to replant, a decision complicated by the race against the calendar and the availability of shorter day dry bean varieties based on the abnormally late season planting. The Environmental Protection Agency and Army Corps of Engineers released their proposal June 27th to formally rescind the Waters of the U.S. or WOTUS rule. This is the first step in a lengthy legal process to eventually enact a new regulation. Michigan Farm Bureau Associate National Legislative Counsel John Cran is calling the announcement a monumental moment in a two-year battle to defeat the new rules. Beef Products, Inc. and ABC News reached a settlement Wednesday in a $5.7 million lawsuit. The terms of the agreement are confidential, but BPI says the settlement vindicates the company. ABC News, meanwhile, says they stand by their reporting, but felt continued litigation in this case was not in their best interest. A Kansas jury has sided with the state's corn growers in a lawsuit against Syngenta. Kansas growers claimed the sale of 2 genetically modified corn seeds in the United States market prior to approval in China caused them economic harm. The jury agreed, awarding over 7,000 growers more than $217 million. In 2013, China refused shipments of U.S. corn after a genetic trait found in Agrosure Viptera was detected in shipments. As a result, U.S. growers lost an estimated $5 billion. Sygenta plans to appeal, saying the verdict will only serve to deny American farmers access to future technologies.
The Michigan Soybean Promotion Committee is devoted to investing soybean farmer checkoff dollars to address grower concerns. We focus our efforts on production research, market development, and outreach. Learn more at michigansoybean.org.
All right, let's get this started. Good evening. I want to thank everybody for coming out, and we're hoping for a good evening here.
Ag Community Relief held their first annual Barn Bash on Saturday, June 24th. The nonprofit organization formed in the wake of Michigan farmers' efforts to provide Kansas and Oklahoma farmers with relief following the area's devastating wildfires earlier this year. The goal of the new organization is to bring aid to farmers and ranchers across the U.S. that experience devastation. They do this by assembling volunteers and donations to help mitigate suffering.
I think farmers helping farmers is the best thing going. It doesn't matter if you're in a rural community or out west or where, your neighbors will step up and help in time of disaster. And I think the ag industry is one of the best things out there going for people helping people. They're very generous and giving. Everybody opens up their wallets and their hearts and they give.
Ag Community Relief has been described as a Red Cross for farmers. The event raised $25,000, with $2,500 given back in the form of scholarships for FFA and 4-H members. Learn more about the mission of Ag Community Relief, donate, and volunteer at agcommunityrelief.com. The USDA released its June acreage report on Friday. Michigan Ag Commodities' Chris Betts will join us next week to discuss its impact on market activity. For more news and video, visit MichiganFarmNews.com. With Farm News 5, I'm Janelle Brose. Have a great week of farming.